Hello friends, this is Christian Wiese. Today's presentation is Quit Shadowboxing. Now with awakening, there is a break in the personality structure, the me. That body, mind, world matrix that we are born into suddenly changes shape, and the familiar differentiation between subject and object kind of merges into one. For me at the time it was synchronicity that did the magic, but of course the voice of oneness is slightly different for everyone. But we do all understand something has changed. This is not the me in action. There is a oneness prevailing, and it feels quite beautiful. And of course we have the desire to always be in that mode. Now awakening is not deliverance. There's a little work to do, a little back and forth between the two systems, the conditioned self and the oneness that we experience from time to time. And of course this is frustrating at times, and also this is often the reason why people then embark on a spiritual quest, because they say there must be a way to make this a permanent happening. The important part of this presentation is to understand that we should not fight the shadow, but should understand that the shadow is part of the solution. Rumi once said, the wound is the place where the light comes in. I think that's a very, very important realization. The example I would like to give you is a car when it's stuck in the mud or in snow. You first put a mat on the ground to give the tires a little bit of material to have some grip. And then you rock back and forth, back and forth. It would never occur to you to say, up is good and back is bad. It's about the rocking. It's about generating the momentum to make it over the hump, and then you are in control again. In the same way, just understand that when the shadow acts, you look at it, and you don't look at it from with the desire to wish it away, but you look at it with the understanding. By looking at it, an important transformation will take place. Now, when I say own the shadow first, before the light can shine it away, perhaps the good example is Luke Skywalker. When Luke Skywalker in Star Wars embarked on his mission, he of course knew we are the good guys. The evil empire, by definition, is bad. So he knew that he was fighting on the right side, but then somewhere in the plot, Darth Vader told him, Luke, I am your father. And that's when he realized the darkness was also part of him. Yes, he used his mission to let go of the desire for power, but first he had to understand that the darkness was as much part of him as the light. I want to give you one example that hopefully shows you how we really have to step away from that fight between darkness and light. And the example I'd like to give you is beating a compulsive habit. So let's say I'm drinking a bottle of wine, and I told myself I wouldn't, but still I do it. I only want to then drink one glass, but it turns 2 glasses, and then suddenly by the end of the evening the entire bottle is gone, and the next morning I feel horrible. And in the afternoon of the next day, I promise myself that this time I will try much harder and much better, and this will never happen to me again. What I'd like to tell you is that those are actually three me's in action. Me number one is whenever we do a certain habit, a compulsive habit, we pretty much fortify a certain neurological link in our brain. So with every bottle that we drink, the desire to drink another bottle increases because we're building those memories. Me number two is the guilt trip the next morning. How could you? Why weren't you strong enough? Where's your willpower? You have to do better. Beating ourselves up is me number two. And then comes me number three, the good me, with the desire to say, well, I wasn't strong enough mentally before, but I've now seen a new video. I will try harder, I will try better, I will be more effective. This time around, I will stop. This is also a me. This is also a neurological structure that we're building. Yet the place that we are looking at, the oneness, the place that we sometimes stumble upon in awakening, is completely free of any conditioned neurological structure. It's a mind that is completely still, completely vibrant, open to anything, but it's still at that moment. There are no structures that beg to be traveled upon, completely open to the moment at hand. So what to do? Of course, it would be nice to beat a compulsive habit. Of course, we have all those 12-step programs, and there's nothing wrong with watching videos and seeing what other people do and trying it and trying to do a little bit better. There's nothing wrong with that at all. All I want to say to you is just observe the different me's in action. Even if the me wants to be a light worker, just observe that me. It's also a me that at the end of the day stands in the way of oneness. And I think few people want to hear that message because it feels so good to be a light worker, right? Let's talk about healing. That is something that we actively can do. Healing could be as simple as signing up for therapy. Maybe a guided counselor helps us to understand some of those memories that we have repressed. There's absolutely nothing wrong with therapy. Other more spiritual methods, I currently participate in a family energy workshop, and I have been really surprised how effective this has been for me personally, especially when my father's energies got addressed. So the thing to know about him is that he was a very potent man when he was young. He was a judge, very fit, athletic. And then sometime in his 50s, bipolar disease struck him down, and he pretty much was depressed until the end of his life with those in-between exuberant periods. And when I did that workshop, I for the first time experienced his anguish, his depression, his embarrassment that his children see him this way. And as I was experiencing those energies, I realized that there is something like that in me too. I also feel defensive vis-a-vis my children whenever I sit for hours in my chair doing meditation or contemplation. I also feel defensive, and just experiencing that energy really transformed something in me. That desire before to be somebody weakened. I'm still doing exactly the same things I did before. Still write, I still talk, nothing really has changed. But that compulsion to work in order to be somebody has really changed in me in just a few weeks. So that's just one example of healing, of letting go of something that in a sense, subconsciously was acting on us. And we can't even be mindful of something that is subconscious, because that's the problem with being subconscious. It's under our radar. So sure, healing can be done constructively and actively, and I certainly recommend it. But otherwise, I'd say mindfulness is the way forward, just observing the me in action and always being ready to jump on that different circuit that is always out there, the circuit of a still mind and open heart, and just letting the energies of life speak for themselves. I don't think, and again that speaks to the desire of the ego to be better in the future, be more spiritual, to be enlightened. I don't think we need to be completely healed, completely whole in order to experience a oneness. All we need to do is position ourselves for healing, embracing the mission that we are born to do, surrounding ourselves with the network of friends and helpers to embark on that journey together. But otherwise, letting life do the healing. The example I would like to give you is an airplane, one of those big airplanes that fly 600 or 800 miles an hour. They need at least 160 or 180 miles an hour for liftoff. So there has to be a particular soundness of being before we can really enjoy those higher energies. But that comes with awakening. Awakening essentially is the point where the higher dimension speaks out to us and say, all right, a new life has started, a little work ahead, but mostly you can already enjoy what awaits you. And that's exactly like that with an airplane. We have managed to have that minimum speed, and now we can mostly just enjoy the ride. So again, message is stop shadow boxing, embrace the shadow, understand it's part of the solution, do the healing, but otherwise just step out of the self-inflicted interference, step out or be mindful of that personality structure, me, that wants to do good or is tempted to do bad, whatever it is, just be mindful and be open to those other energies that otherwise just do the work for you. All right, I hope you found this presentation useful. Until next time, bye.